Welcome to the Piratecast, I guess I want to call it, the Piratecast. Can we do that? A podcast here talking Lubbock-Cooper Athletics, Lubbock-Cooper sports in general, really just Lubbock-Cooper in general, something I've been wanting to do for a while. And my name is Andreas Flores here with Coach Po, Sylas Politte from Lubbock-Cooper. Myself, I have been covering Lubbock-Cooper for 3 years, do play-by-play and color for the football team, basketball and baseball and softball as well. I also host the coaches show, so I've talked to Coach Cat and all the other coaches for that. Coach Po, kind of what's your background? I know more people might know you than they know me, but kind of take us through that.
Well, you know, being a Cooper boy, I grew up around Lubbock-Cooper, graduated from there in '99 before I went to Angelo State. And in 2010, my family and I had a chance to move back, and there was no other school really for us in the area. So it wasn't even an option. So I have 3 boys that are all in school at Cooper. 4 years ago, Coach Cat gave me the opportunity to come and coach at Laura Bush Middle School. And so I'm in my 4th year there, coaching the boys' sports, football, basketball, and track, and loving what I do there, and just being a part of the Pirate family, which I'm sure you've been indoctrinated to now.
Yes. Been having a blast. Been loving it. Everybody's been so nice to me whenever I go, whether it be traveling with the team for the football games or the basketball games. It's always been a great time for me to do that. You guys have been so nice. But to kind of a podcast here where we just kind of break down Lubbock-Cooper athletics. I mean, it's really a fun time. It's a good time. Not only do you have basketball coming to the playoffs, but baseball and softball is about to start. You just had some football players sign a letter of intent to play at the next level. So really, it's just a fantastic time to be in Lubbock-Cooper sports.
It is, and you know, as Cooper's grown, so has the level or the expectation of success, and that's something that's never kind of changed over the years. As the school, even when I was in school there, we're successful in a lot of things. And it just continued to grow. And now you see our FFA people doing well at state, and mechanics and shop and building things there. And our band is super successful in what they do. Track also starting up, and those guys do a great job. And then our academic UIL teams also do a phenomenal job. And so, I mean, Lubbock-Cooper, obviously I'm biased, and that's why I'm here today and doing this show with you. But I think it's a great place, and success can be found wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And so, you know, athletics isn't for everyone, and there's something for everyone at Lubbock-Cooper. So it's really cool to see. And I think success breeds success. And so you kind of see the trend and everybody kind of wanting to hold up to that expectation.
And I want to kind of touch on everybody, not necessarily today on this episode, but eventually down the road, let's get some track people in, let's get some coaches and players, and let's talk to some people and just promote. Really, that's kind of the key word, just promote. Not Lubbock-Cooper Independent School District, the Lubbock-Cooper ISD.
That's right.
And Lubbock-Cooper High School. Just kind of get everybody out there that we got good stuff going on over there. So yeah, no interview today, kind of a last minute thing, but a lot to talk about. Let's go ahead and go back last week with the national letter of intent there for the football team. I believe it was 5 players for that. Jake Kirkpatrick, I guess most notably here in Lubbock, staying here with the hometown boys at Texas Tech University, but Eli Boyd, amongst others. I know you have a list over there.
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things that it's great for the football program, it's great for the school, and it's really great for these guys and their families who have probably had aspirations to play at the next level since they put pads on. And so being able to ink their names on those papers last week was a whole lot more than ink on a page. I think it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of dedication. As we'll find next year, a lot of miles on a car, driving to and from away games. And so really proud of those guys. You know, Eli Boyd signing that national letter of intent at New Mexico Highlands University. And Eli coming off an injury, so there was some questions of how people would receive that. But I think Eli's work ethic and his character, and people know that he's going to work hard to get back. And I think New Mexico Highland couldn't have picked a better guy, and they'll be really fortunate for that. Gunnar Englehart heading to Cisco Junior College, going the junior college route. And Cisco really is a good spot to be. I think he had options possibly attending Howard Payne University, but weighing those things out with his family, decided Cisco would be the best route for him. Colin Powers, as you well know, we call him Moose, headed to Eastern New Mexico. And Jaden Ridgway, Southern Nazarene University. And again, Jake rounding out the 5. And that's the most that I can think of signing on the same day in quite a while last year. We were fortunate to have Ty Thomas and Jarrett Dagey both sign. By this time, we're already on campuses for their schools.
And I'm sure that's got to be fun as a football program to see not only the growth in the football program, but the growth also in these athletes signing to play at the next level. And hopefully down the road it can be more than a double digits of players getting to that next level. That's certainly what you hope for.
I do coach at the middle school, and then I have kids who are middle school age who are looking up to those guys, and the bar's being set at Lubbock-Cooper. So to be the Ty Thomases and the Jarrett Dageys and the Jake Kirkpatricks and those guys who get to sign those lines, you also have to follow their work ethic and the things that they've done and the hours that they've put in and the sacrifices they've made. And seeing those things, I think, can only make your program better.
And Jake obviously coming third generation Texas Tech football player there. Yeah. So that was good to see that not only but his dad and then elsewhere down the line that he's able to stick there. And then I think it's a good spot for him. Texas Tech, you look at this past year's team with Justice Parker, not a scholarship guy, not a starter to begin the season, but kind of just played his way there. Not comparing Jake to Justice, but it's kind of a similar situation where Jake, if he's going to do the right things, that on and off the field, and he's a hard player, you never know what can happen.
No doubt, and I can't wait for the day to see, how everybody comes out with the big videos of, hey, you're on scholarship, and with Gronk and Amendola sharing that with Justice. I can't wait for the day because I fully believe and think that Jake will be one of those guys at some point. Getting a preferred walk-on to a Division I university is no easy task, and Jake's doing that, and I think he's going to make the most of his opportunity.
Sticking here with football for a bit, I do want to talk on the basketball coming up. Lady Pirates, big game Tuesday night, February 13th, at Dimmitt High School, taking on Canyon Randall for the bi-district championship. But a couple of weeks ago, or really towards the beginning of this month, realignment day came out, and that's a big day, especially for high school football. It affects other sports as well, but I think football is kind of the main focus for realignment day, and the Pirates are going to be in that new 5A. Division II, District 3, Division II for that one. It's going to be some new rivalries, and it's going to be some road trips here for the Pirates with Plainview, Abilene, Wiley, Randall, Wichita Falls High, and then Wichita Falls Rider. What were your overall thoughts when you first heard the news?
You always kind of speculate early on, knowing that day's coming, of what it's going to look like and how your district's going to shape up. And for the longest time, people try to predict and guesstimate on how the numbers fell, because in late October is when they call that the snapshot day, where schools are turning in their numbers, and then you try to figure out, well, who turned in this and who turned in that, and weigh all that out, and then you try to start kind of looking at a map. And there's been a lot of times where coaches have gone to get their slips and figured out, wow, we're in this district, and sometimes it's flipped. And I was at Coronado my first year coaching and teaching, and Coronado was realigned and had just been off a couple of students of being a 5A, and they got stuck in a big 6A, and they were in that massive 10-team district.
Yeah, I remember that.
That made it really hard, and then Coach Parr inherited the next 2 years of being 6A, and then you saw Coronado come down to 5A over the last couple of years and the things that they did. And so realignment can always kind of be a mixed bag for a lot of people. And when I looked at this realignment, kind of knowing how things might fall and shake down, this is a tradition-rich district now. And you look at it with Wiley and Wichita Falls and Ryder, and think about the names of guys who've played there and the stories that you've heard of their traditional teams and deep playoff runs. And Wiley's a couple of years removed from a state final, I believe, a couple of years ago. And you look at Case Keenum and the things he did with the Vikings this year, and he was an Abilene Wiley product. And so TJ Vasher from Wichita Falls.
JT Barrett at Ohio State.
That's
now.
right. Yeah.
He was a quarterback there for the Wichita Falls Rider Raiders. And I think Coach Cat tweeted out perfectly in his tweet there, and just new rivalries, new everything for that. And I like that tweet. It was a great tweet for there, and I agree with it. It's going to be fun. Maybe for a parent or somebody just following the team, the travel might be difficult at times, especially a Friday night coming all the way to Wichita Falls, I guess, is a little bit easier being a Friday than maybe a Tuesday basketball game or something, but it's going to be fun. And when I first saw it, like you said, that snapshot day, and then talking with Kat for the high school fan zone all last year during the football season, there was kind of talkings, and we discussed it a little bit there, and so it wasn't a total surprise for me, but I'm definitely excited not only to get those guys coming to Pirate Stadium, but then also us hitting the road. And I think we do a great job hitting the road. I've been on the road a couple times with you guys. It's a fun experience whenever you have 3 or 4 buses and Suburbans and everything going. That's always a fun time.
Yeah, we travel well. We really think of ourselves as, I think Coach Cat does a great job in preparing our guys to travel in the way he prepares the district schedule, making sure that we do travel some, that our guys are ready for a true away game. Now, next year it'll be a little bit different. I think Pirate fans have been a little spoiled with our district over the last couple of years, and the fact that 2 of our away games were really just about 10 blocks to the north. Sometimes
the Lubbock-Cooper campus is closer to Plains Capital Park than what Coronado or even Lubbock High were.
Yeah, that's a great point. And so, fortunately, we're going to be able to keep some of those games.
And that's good. I'm glad.
Have been marquee games. I say marquee. The Cooper Friendship rivalry has become huge. The Coronado-Cooper rivalry is only going to continue to grow as those guys play each other, as we play against them. Monterey has just a great program, and I mean,
you want to see great programs play great programs, and at times it could be difficult because a lot of people are after the wins. They rather get a 5-0, 6-0 non-district record instead of playing better quality teams and really testing their teams. Like you said about Cat, he does a great job at scheduling and making sure the Pirates are ready, not only just on the field, but when it comes to program, be ready as a program going forward for many years to come.
Sure. Kent Jackson's one of my mentors, obviously being able to work with him at Coronado my first year and just really glean a lot of what he did. But and watching when he went to Seminole in that district that they were in with Sweetwater and Monahans and the guys that they had to play. And a few years ago, you'll remember, they finished 4th in their district and made it about 4 rounds deep in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I think Coach Jackson would tell you a lot of that had to do with how prepared they fought through. A year before that, they had finished maybe 1-9 or 0-10, not good, but they took some licks and their team grew and they got tougher and they got better. And so I definitely think that your non-district prepares you and the games that you're going to have to schedule so that you see a certain kind of offense like you'll see in the playoffs. It's not always – the last couple of years we've opened up with Amarillo High, which is never easy. I mean, a perennial powerhouse of the Panhandle, and the style of offense that they run is really hard to prepare for now with spring training and the amount of time that we were given to prepare for them. But it made us ready to play the Lakeviews and other people that ran that style. So I think those things all go into consideration, and coaches really have to think about those things.
So that new District 3, 5A, Division 2, Abilene, Wiley, Canyon Randall, Lubbock-Cooper, Plainview, Wichita Falls, Ryder, Monterey, Coronado, they do stay 5A and Lubbock High, but it'll be Division 1. They're splitting Division 1, Division 2, Monterey, Coronado, Lubbock High. They're thrown there with Palladoro, Caprock, and Amarillo High. And I believe Abilene Cooper might have stayed in there with them as well for that new district. And I guess what else is going to change is that first round of the playoffs. You're not going to play a North Amarillo school now. You're going to go to Fort Worth. And I guess that could be exciting, too. You have Fort Worth, Eastern Hills, North Side, Southwest, Wyatt, Riverside, a bunch of Fort Worth schools. Again, just new traditions, new games, new rivalries to build with these schools going forward.
Yeah, and that's Texas high school football. I mean, if you're in the dance, you're there, and that's a huge thing. And people kind of want to try to downplay the fact that, well, you're still taking 4 teams, and how can that be? And it's really all about the money. And you know what? I think it's all about the memories. I think it's all about an opportunity for these kids to have something to play for. And anybody making the playoffs in a district is really doing their part. No team asks for a 4-team district. I mean, do you get a easy pass? Sure you do. I joked with my friends. I talked to you about Seminole the other day and joked with them and texted my buddies and said, congrats on making the playoffs because they're in one of those 4-team districts. But they didn't ask for that. That's the hand that they were dealt, and they're going to play hard, and then they'll have a first-round playoff game, and hopefully they can, whoever it is, they go to play to win.
And I guess that's what's special about realignment, too, that it happens every 2 years, that maybe you get a shorthand these 2 years, but in the next 2 years you can get something maybe more favorable, I guess for lack of a better term, more favorable. But it'll change, and I like that. I've been asking coaches recently on the high school fan zone, do you like that it's every 2 years? Should it be every year? Should it be every 5 years? But I think 2 is okay. Now, would I've loved to see us Lubbock-Cooper play Coronado for a district championship? Yeah, that would have been fun, right? Because Coronado's been there the last 2 years, but you're still going to play them non-district, and who knows? In 2 more years, you might get right back in a district with them. So
and we're going to be revisiting our rivalry, I guess, or not really a rivalry. I don't know how you define rivalries, but Plainview was in our district a couple years ago, and we had some really hard-fought games with them, in Jarrett's junior year and Colton Ayler's senior year, and playing them at Plainview. Now, I consider Plainview's stadium one of the historic places in the Panhandle.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. You think about the people who've played there, and it's a really hard place to play. And so that's going to happen again. Canyon Randall, I definitely think you have to call that a rivalry at this point.
Yeah.
We've kind of gone back and forth as far as who's beating up on who.
And multiple sports, too. Baseball.
Sure.
The baseball team beat them.
And we're talking about the Lady Pirates.
Tomorrow.
We'll talk about that soon, too. But that's going to happen tomorrow night. And that's, again, Canyon Randall. And next year it'll be twice in district that they're going to go after each other.
Yeah. Yep. One quick story about Plainview's football stadium. It was my first year broadcasting with Tommy Wood here for 100.7 The Score, and we go up to that press box. Of course, we get there relatively early. I think we're one of the few ones in the press box, and it's not infested, but there's a lot of wasps in that press box, and I almost was not going to do that game. Not that I'm scared of wasps, but I just don't want to be stung. Like that's the fear of being stung more than just the fear of the wasp. And I was like, me, Tommy, I may not be able to do this with all these, but they got them killed. They took care of it, and it was good by game time. But woo.
Yeah, probably had some sort of home remedy of grandma's cough syrup and water mixture to spray on them, but there's some job hazards that you can work with, and that's probably not one of them.
It's A-Flo, it's Coach Po here, the Piratecast. Let's talk some Lady Pirate basketball on the not on the road, but technically on the road, but not a road game.
Sure.
Neutral site, Dimmitt High School, Dimmitt, Texas, taking on Canyon Randall for the by-district championship, and it's been a special season for these Lady Pirates. 31-2 overall, 10-0 in district play. Only the second time they've done a undefeated district season for that one. So good things that Coach Lovern and the Lady Pirates are doing. I'm excited for tomorrow.
Man, he has done such a great job, and the girls have bought into what he's doing. And those programs, you look at the varsity program, and like we talked about earlier, success breeding success. I think our JV team had a phenomenal season as well. Not many losses for them. The freshman team did as well. Down to the middle schools, both Lubbock-Cooper and Laura Bush. And I think it's just going to continue to build up and build up and build up. And Coach Laverne and the investments that he's making into his program from top to bottom is going to pay huge dividends, and I think you're just beginning to see the fruits of those labors. And who better to have your young girls looking to than J.C. Heiss?
The senior here just celebrating senior night there for that one. And it really, it's tough. And I was even talking to Coach about it, that not tough, but it's you don't see a 5A school graduating one senior very often. I mean, you just don't. But, whenever she was a freshman, I believe that was the first year Lubbock-Cooper was 5A. They moved up to 5A right there for a freshman year. And she's kind of lasted the whole way, all 4 years.
Yeah, and she's been a huge part of what they've done over the last couple of years, and someone that they could look to, and someone that others could look up to. Having one senior is an odd deal, but I think it's a pretty cool problem to have. And Coach Laverne not looking ahead at all, because tomorrow night is a pretty big game, pretty important game. But to know that the foundation's been set and he can just start building and building and building.
It's a season like this, it's a run like this that kind of gets you excited, and looking back towards when Lubbock-Cooper in 3A was really, really doing good. Back when Coach Hilliard was the coach there, they made 2 regional final appearances, going 4 or 5 rounds deep into the playoff, 23 wins, 24 wins, 28 wins. They had a 30-win season back in 2012, 2013. So it's the excitement should be there. I know I'm excited, and again tomorrow against Canyon Randall is going to be a tough game. I know Coach talked to you about Randall and what he expects to see from them tomorrow.
Yeah, they played each other earlier on in the year, I believe mid-December game, and the Lady Pirates were able to walk out of there with a 1-point win, a 71-70 game. You look at that game, and I'm sure if you're Canyon Randall's side, you're saying, we had missed opportunities here and missed opportunities there. But I also think Coach Laverne feels like he left some points on the board. And so it's never easy to beat someone twice. It's really hard to do. I know that Coach Laverne's probably put a game plan together, but when you look at the Lady Pirates and the depth that they're going to have, I think it has to be a huge advantage for them. Canyon Randall are going to come out with 5 solid starters, very strong in what they do. I don't know that they have the depth that the Lady Pirates do, but their guards are really good. Moreno is a really good three-point shooter. She has a green light, really.
That's her point guard. Yeah, that's her point guard.
And then they have a big 6'1" post player. And I think we match up well with them. I mean, you look at what the Lady Pirates have, and if you're putting people against each other, you're like, we like that matchup. We like that matchup. And so it's one of those things that I think will be really good for them. They're just going to have to contain Perez, the little shifty guard who likes to get into the lane. And she really makes their offense go. She sucks everybody in, and then she'll kick it out to Moreno for one of those three-point shots or find one of the big post players and feed her the ball as well.
One thing that I've noticed, and this happens through all the sports regardless, is the team that starts the season a lot of the time is not the same team that ends the season, right? You can either get better or worse, right? And I think the Lady Pirates have gotten a lot better. I think they've even said it. I've talked to the girls after the games and even Coach Lovern on the High School Fan Zone that they watch film and they even realize that that's not the same team. That team that we played against Randall that first time, that's not what we are doing right now. And I think that's a key right there for the Lady Pirates. And if they just got to stay focused, they can still come away with this by-district championship. A rematch from last year's by-district, Randall won that one 70-40. That was not a fun one to call or be at. But new year, and hopefully it's a different result.
You know, and I think you would agree in that you've seen the Lady Pirates mature and grow over the year. And I think that December tournament, the Caprock Classic, where they were able to hoist up the cotton bale trophy, so to speak, really did a lot for their confidence, moved them on into district, and the Lady Pirates have gone 10-0 in district, and it hasn't even been close.
No, it has not.
It's not been close at all. And now I'll say this, and I think it needs to be said, that the Canyon Randall Lady Raiders, or do you call them Lady Raiders?
Yes, Lady Raiders.
Have had to play the likes of Canyon High School and Amarillo High and those likes, I think. And
Plainview as well, tradition rich as well.
And it's tough. It's tough. And so I think, obviously the team that comes out more aggressive, the team that comes out and is able to impose their will on the other is probably going to be the team that comes away with the win. Coaches talk about this all the time too, and I think this plays into Cooper's favor, is that the team with the fewest amount of turnovers is probably going to be successful as well. And the Lady Pirates' assist-to-turnover ratio has been phenomenal over this district season.
It starts with the point guards, Maddie Rodriguez and Kate Siegel, doing a very good job taking care of the basketball. Siegel and Avery Douglas, 2 freshmen that really don't play like freshmen. They're already getting into the rotation and really stepping up. And, Avery at times early in district was the leading scorer. She was out scoring J.C. Heiss, who J.C. Heiss has been traditionally the leading scorer for this Lady Pirate team. Now, J.C. Heiss, of course, had a 27-point game against Abilene Cooper one time, but still, at the beginning, Avery was playing very well. And
the thing about these girls is they don't care who it is. Mm-hmm. They don't care who's leading the team in points as long as they get the win. And, man, you talk about Kate and Avery, and those are names that go together with each other because they've been playing ball together for so long. And I know those girls well because of their relationship with my son. They're all the same age, so I got to watch them play at Laura Bush. And I don't care if it's walking from point A to point B. Avery Douglas wants to beat you. Kate Siegel wants to beat you, whether it's checkers or basketball. They just have that competitive instinct that you can't coach. You can't put that in them. They have it. And they play hard all the time.
Little injury bug, not bug, but Katie Fairbanks, lower leg injury. Emily Goldsmith, the last district game, lower leg injury, but I think they'll both be back ready to go tomorrow night. I don't see too much concern in missing or losing either one of those girls. So I'm excited. I think they're healthy. They're ready to go. I think they're excited. It's, again, like I said, 30 wins the last time, 2012, 2013. They got to realize and understand what's about to happen here.
And, it's one of those deals that you want to be peaking at the right moment. And I think the Lady Pirates aren't close to peaking, but they're on the uphill climb. They're going in the right direction, so to speak. And I don't think Coach is going to have to tell them much to get them ready for tomorrow night and to get them up and ready to go. I bet even right now they're ready to get it done. and ready to go and make sure that what happened last year doesn't happen again.
Elsewhere in the district for 4-5A, of course, Lubbock-Cooper playing Randall, Monterey playing Plainview, Lubbock High playing Amarillo High, and Abilene Cooper playing Canyon High in the first round of the district championship. Just looking ahead a little bit, for sure not overlooking Randall, but the winner of that Randall versus Lubbock-Cooper game will play the winner of El Paso Burgess and El Paso Hanks. So that's just something to look ahead a little bit there for that one, at least get your mind on it. Do want to switch to the boys basketball team now here, Coach Po, for this one. And they've kind of, again, you start a little bit slow in district, but, boom, you have 3 wins in a row now. I believe it's 4 out of the last 5 or 4 out of the last 6, and they're right here a win away from possibly getting that second seed in District 4-5A. They play on the road Tuesday night at Abilene Cooper, so it should be fun.
They're a couple of shots away, Andres, from being the leader in the district. But no use crying over spilt milk, so to speak. The guys, after the first round of district, collected, got together, took a loss to Coronado, but since then have avenged every loss so far that they had. Now what they're going to continue to have to do is win the games that they won at home as they travel to Abilene Cooper on tomorrow night. Make sure that they solidify that win, and basically they control their own destiny at this point.
They do. So they're sitting right now in a tied for second with Monterey, both 5-4 right now. Monterey plays at Coronado. Lubbock-Cooper plays at Abilene Cooper. But even Abilene Cooper and Lubbock High still alive, very much alive, to clinch a playoff spot. So Cooper, and really, I was looking at it earlier, I mean, there could be a 3-way tie for second place depending on what happens tomorrow. But like you said, Lubbock-Cooper, control what you can do. That's when tomorrow you win there, you'll be in good shape trying to get that second seed.
And you've really seen the play of Brendan Blacklock come up huge in the last couple of games. Ray Murphy has been a catalyst for the team often. As he goes, so does the team. Cade Spears stepped into the starting lineup the other night, a sophomore, late in a district run. Not an easy thing to do, but real proud of Cade. And Cade Johnston, man, and his shot and the things that he's been able to do. It just seems like this team is starting to click at the right time. And early on in district, I really think if I were to say, hey, Andres, what's this group's identity? I don't know that you could have told me. But now, on the back end of this district, they know that they're going to have to be gritty and physical to get any win that they're going to get.
Yeah, and I agree with you with that statement earlier. Couple of possessions away from I mean, right now they're 5-4. They could easily be 8-1 right now. I mean,
no doubt.
Almost, maybe even almost 9-0. To be honest with you, it just takes back to that Lubbock High game where they held the ball for the whole first quarter. If that wasn't a thing, man, who knows what would have happened in that game? But that was something weird to see for the Lubbock High and Lubbock Cooper game where they held the basketball. I've never seen that as a broadcaster, as a player, as anything associated with basketball. It was just kind of one of those deals that.
Yeah.
Who knows?
What do you say? And I think it says a lot about these guys because the way they've lost those first 2 games in district, both on buzzer beater shots, some teams could have said, man, we're just snake bitten. This is just how our district season's going to go. And then to go to Lubbock High, a team that you've traditionally had no problem with beating, and then they had already played each other in the Caprock tournament. I think people forget about that. Lubbock High was prepared for Cooper, and Cooper was prepared for Lubbock High to an extent. Nobody, I don't think, says, guys, if they come out in a stall in the first quarter and hold the ball the entire 8 minutes, here's what we're going to do. But obviously the Pirates figured that out and got it together and took care of business this past Friday night. Lakeview came to town, Abilene Cooper came to town, and things began to start looking up. And so really proud of those guys and what they've accomplished. And those seniors, again, we mentioned Brendan and Ray, but Daniel Fiddler has stepped up big over the last couple of weeks, and so and the guys who come off the bench and they give you a couple of minutes, and it may not be a lot of minutes, but they give you quality minutes.
I was just going to say that maybe Coach Riley's maybe got not necessarily uncomfortable. Comfortable may be the wrong word, but he's kind of thrown those guys in there at key situations. I'm talking Cole Carter, Andrew Simnacker as well. The guys that you said that they play key minutes, good minutes for you. They may not score a lot of points.
Sure.
Cole may knock down a shot here and there, but they're going to take care of the basketball. They're going to play good defense, and I think that's all you can ask for if you're Coach Riley.
And I'm real excited to see about the future of Will Doherty. I mean, a kid who's long and lanky, and I don't know if lanky's the right word.
Only a sophomore.
His mom's my son's teacher. She may not like me using the word lanky, but he is a sophomore. He's left-handed, and it just seems like when he gets the ball, he's so aggressive, and and knows exactly what he wants to do and doesn't look like a sophomore.
Very good. Tomorrow night, Tuesday night at Abilene Cooper. They can get anywhere from the 2nd seed, even the 4th seed, just depending on what else happens in the district. But I guess the most important thing is they are going to be in the playoffs. They clinch a playoff spot, the Lubbock-Cooper Pirate basketball team. So
we'll be Mustang fans tomorrow night. We want Coronado to beat Monterey. We need for ourselves, we need to beat Abilene Cooper on the road, which is never easy.
No.
You're traveling to Abilene. You're going to have to beat Abilene Cooper on their floor, and they've got a lot to play for. It's not just a gimme game for them, for us.
They just beat Monterey. They beat Monterey last Friday.
That's right, and so they've got a lot to play for. Their playoff hopes are on the line. I mean, the worst thing we could do is walk into that game thinking we're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because you're sure you might be, but you'd much rather play one of those middle-of-the-pack teams from the district to the north than you would play the number 1 team out of that district.
Tough place to play. They have the pep band going on in the stands across the way. They'll make a lot of noise, so I'm sure it'll be no different coming up tomorrow night.
Yep, for sure.
Let's see where else we want to go. Okay, real quickly, realignment. We talked football, but also the basketball. There's going to be some changes. Right now, it's a 6-team league. Next year, it's going to be a 9-team league. So only 4 will make the playoffs out of that 9-team league, and it's going to be much tougher again. Amarillo High, Amarillo Caprock, Paladoro, Randall, Plainview, plus the 4 Lubbock schools. So it's again, as a broadcaster, as a fan, you got to love it. But as a player, as a coach, it might be difficult to sleep at night when it comes to this.
It's something that I think Pirate fans are going to have to get used to because we haven't been put in this situation really ever in recent memory from me that your football district and your basketball, volleyball districts were different. And we stay in that 6-team district. And so after football's over, we'll say goodbye to the Wichita Falls Abilene Wiley School for a while. And we'll say, hey, Amarillo High, state powerhouse, state tournament team. Oh, hey, Amarillo Caprock, who's beat us boys side twice this year. Oh, Paladuro, you're one of those teams that is like West Virginia and will press the whole game, all game, nonstop. Then there's Plainview also, who, like you mentioned earlier, is a tradition-rich school, and they are really good at what they do. And then there's our football foe in Canyon Randall, who on the girls and boys side both
playoff teams.
Great playoff teams and great basketball teams. And then you know what you're getting with Coronado, Monterey, and Lubbock High. And it is going to be a dogfight every night of district.
With that district, you're going to have good teams miss the playoffs.
For sure. And I think you're going to see that a lot around the state for a while. In the way that the districts match up now and the way that things are looking on paper anyway, there's several teams where you're looking at it going, man, that 5th place team, whoever ends up 5th out of that district, really is a good basketball team. And I think you'll be surprised to find teams that finish their district contest unscathed, undefeated. Like you may have a 2-loss team win district, and the rest, there'll be some tie break somewhere or something like that. But, man, I wish for nothing more than us to look up next year at this time and say, hey, the Lady Pirates did it again, or look at the Pirates and how they ran through that district. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be one of those things for the sports fan to look at and go, man, this district right here is District 3-5A is a tough basketball district.
A couple years ago, that 6A district that had teams with Coronado, Monterey, then the Odessa schools. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing here with this one. You only have 9 instead of 10, but it's kind of that same flavor to it, where every game is going to be something.
And you'll start your district campaign before the Caprock tournament.
Yeah,
you'll have to start that district campaign in December, and you don't have much time to prepare. There's not going to be many non-district games. You'll have a couple of tournaments, I'm sure, but there's going to have to be a mental change for a lot of these guys who have been on varsity, who will play on varsity again next year. And that switch is going to have to come on a lot sooner. And I'm sure Coach Laverne and Coach Riley will have those guys ready for that and thinking that way.
Like I said at the top of the show, fun time for high school athletics here. And then, of course, with Lubbock-Cooper. Before we go, Coach Po, can we talk some softball real quick? Because I know they're starting their season tomorrow at home against Amarillo High. Is it called? It's First United Park, but is it Lady Pirate Stadium or Lady Pirate Field, or it's just First United Park?
I think,
yeah, we can go with that.
Let's do that.
I'll ask Coach White. Next time we get
say Coach White, which a lot of people may not be familiar with. Coach Winton, long time there, a lot of tradition, handed the torch off to Coach Liz White, she's coming in and kind of taking things over, and I don't see these girls missing a beat. Reagan Roberts is back in the middle of that infield, hitting in the middle of that lineup, and coming off of her all-city, all-South Plains, all-district campaign last year, and only looking to get better. Several other players will be back. The sisters will be back. Theron and Theory Zachary will be back playing, and they're going to be a lot of fun to watch. And there's no really coasting into it. They welcome Amarillo High, like you said, tomorrow, and then they'll jump into their own Caprock softball tournament this weekend.
Mm-hmm. I think I counted 14 returners from last year's team. Two people that you didn't mention that I do want to mention is Marley Goolsby and Autumn White in the circle.
No doubt.
If you want to be a successful softball program, I think it starts right there in the circle. And Marley and Autumn, they've been doing it for a long time. I don't expect anything different here for their senior season.
And again, Autumn, also a volleyball player, played with the playoff volleyball team under a new coach. So there's really no change for her there. And these girls are playing softball all the time. And you mentioned Marley, and I'm just so amazed by softball pitchers sometimes, because you see these baseball pitchers who, check their innings and watch count. This and watch that. And then you see these softball players that just go and go and go and go, and inning after inning after inning and game after game. And Marley and Autumn have got to be two of the best in our area for sure.
Another girl I want to throw out there, Callie Box, again, have been on this varsity team for sure for 3 years coming in. I've only been covering Cooper for this might be my third season to cover the softball team, and every year I've been there, she's been there. And a girl that you can plug anywhere, outfield, infield. I know she's been in center field early in the scrimmage part of the season for the Lady Pirates, and I think she's another one that right there is just a quality player. May not get her name in the clippings a lot, or just with this lineup, it's hard to. But quality player with Callie Box. I like Callie Box a lot.
For sure. And, this team has power. They have speed. I'm eager to see how Coach White does all those things. Different coaches have different philosophies. And really in this district, Andres, there's a lot of change, it seems like, from your traditional schools. Coronado with Nancy Sawyer coming in. She's been there before under J.J. Johnson, but he's moved on to the administrative side of LISD athletics. So she's going to take the reins for her first time and probably do a lot of the same things that they do. But when it's your program and you're taking it and it's your first year, you kind of put your own little spin on it. Yeah. You don't need to spin these things too much, because what they've got in place is really good. And I think Coach White is inheriting a great group. I think it's also something that we should mention, that her assistant coach is also the person that she will go home with that night. Her husband. Yes.
Husband Clint White also making the trip from Colorado City.
That's right.
Where they both of them were at previously there. Two things I was going to say. Coronado, until somebody beats them, they're the top dog. 22 straight district championships
in a row
is unbelievable. So they're probably going to be the top dog, the favorite going in. But with this Lady Pirate team, I think they're knocking on the door right there to at least have a shot to knock them off.
And maybe you'll see a changing of the guard this year. I hope for nothing more that you do, obviously. I think that would be great. And just talk a little bit about Coach White and Coach White and Coach Morrison, and just the quality people that Lubbock-Cooper's been able to attract. Coach Laverne, for that matter, in his second year, and the quality coaches that have not just come to Lubbock-Cooper, but made Lubbock-Cooper better. Not just better on the sports field, but better in the community. I mean, these coaches are encouraging their kids to get out and be a part of the community. These athletes are getting up early. Rarely does a 16, 17-year-old go, I want to get up at 7 o'clock so I can go to our elementary schools and greet the future of our programs. Yeah. And I think that says a lot about these kids, a lot about these coaches, and really pushing these kids to get out in the community. Don't just play, but go support them. Don't just be a face, but go be a name. Meet these people. Invite these kids when you see them, and encourage them to do well in school, to make good grades, because without that you can't play. And so just an awesome all-around atmosphere at Lubbock-Cooper. Again, I'm going to be the proverbial biased Lubbock-Cooper guy. And I believe in what they're doing there. I think Coach Katz's leadership, he's not a doctor. I call him doctor quite a bit, but Mr. Bryant, as well as all of the administrative staff, Miss Inkelbarker, and all of her people at the high school, all the way down, have just done a phenomenal job and continue to do a phenomenal job in attracting people. People want to be at Lubbock-Cooper, and it's a great great place to be, and no better time to be there than right now.
One last thing, I do want to mention Caleb Henderson. He is coming back on that coaching staff for the softball team. I believe he's been here since 2012, and just some familiarity. It's tough to go through coaching changes. Don't get me wrong, it is, but to have a familiarity face like Hendo in there, not only in the volleyball program, but the softball program as well, it got to be a plus.
Yeah, and I think he does a great job. And man, he encourages all athletes in all sports, and just I think he was voted best hair of anybody on the staff. That may be an unofficial award that he got, but just a great guy, and really love what he does. And he's just such a humble guy. He's not a guy that you hear a lot from the stands, but when his voice is spoken, those kids are listening because they know he has their best interest at heart, and he's going to coach them up the best he can.
Coach Po, I think that'll do it for today. We talked a lot. We got a lot covered here in this one. Talk some football, some signing, some realignment. Again, the playoff game tomorrow for the Lady Pirates, Tuesday night, Dimmitt High School taking on Canyon Randall. The boys will be in Abilene for their regular season finale, so a lot going on, plus the softball team in action here back at home, 6:30, I believe, first pitch for the softball team as well, man. So a lot to get covered. Hopefully we can do this more often. I hope you had fun.
Yeah.
I hope we can continue to do this maybe next week or the next time we meet. We can talk some baseball because they'll start their season coming up and talk about another new coach for that one.
What's going on right now? Yeah, Coach Winchie getting those guys right after. And it's weird to not say Coach Baxter. It's not normal yet. But spring is an awesome time, and I'm excited. Look forward to this show for sure, and what we can do and the exposure we can bring for these awesome athletes.
Where can they find you on Twitter? Your Twitter handle?
I can't exactly. My Twitter handle, I believe, is LCP Coach Po, LCP _Coach _Po. Find me there.
And you're on Facebook as well.
That's right.
At
Instagram.
At A-Flo Radio for me on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook as well for that one. Of course, we're doing the broadcast as well going forward for basketball and then in baseball season. But that baseball won't start till closer to district. Baseball and softball won't start closer till district.
But we'll find time to talk about
it. Yes. Coach Po, good stuff, fun times. We'll do it again.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks a bunch.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. Appreciate it.